She is a celebrity whose songs consistently top the Billboard Hot 100 and go viral on the internet. Swifty is not merely a vocalist. With millions of admirers and accolades from critics who don't always agree with her, she is a cultural phenomenon. Without a doubt, Taylor's career has been nothing short of spectacular. However, one aspect of her life has mostly remained hidden: the silent but agonizing divorce of her parents. The 2011 divorce of Taylor Swift's parents, who had been married for 23 years, received little media attention. After years of ignorance, fans now know what happened. Taylor, who is 35 years old, is finally opening up about the reasons behind their breakup, and it's more intimate and emotional than anyone anticipated. What, then, put an end to a decades-long marriage? In what ways did it influence Taylor Swift's current self? Let's get going. Many people are aware of Taylor Swift as the chart-topping artist, the award-winning vocalist, and the lady who has the power to shut down the internet with just one line. However, many people are unaware of how she got here. Behind the flash and celebrity, there's a backstory filled with silent struggles and sacrifices. Taylor Swift, it took a lot of effort to become well-known. Her parents, Andrea and Scott Swift, were actively involved in her early career and supportive when she was a child. They were there for the small-town performances, the tryouts, the rejections, and the unwavering dream. However, many of Taylor's followers began to question whether they were still involved in her life after their 2011 breakup. The response isn't as absurd as you may believe. Let's first take a look back at how Taylor Allison Swift got to be the well-known singer that we all know and adore today. Born on December 13, 1989, he was raised in the sleepy town of Reading, Pennsylvania. She loved music like most children, but not in the typical sense. She started creating actual songs about real places as soon as she picked up the guitar her family had given her for Christmas. Even as a young child, she had a deep love for country music and didn't hesitate to pursue her goals. Her parents decided to nurture that flame after noticing it in her. When Taylor was 11 years old, her family moved to Nashville, Tennessee, so she could try to land a record deal. The epicenter of country music is Nashville. She stopped handing out demo CDs and started performing wherever she could. It was successful. At 14, she secured a publishing contract with Sony/ATV. She became the youngest artist the company had ever signed as a result. She signed with Big Machine Records 2 years later. Additionally, she released her debut album, simply titled Her, in 2006. The world immediately saw. Although Tim McGraw and Teardrops on My Guitar gave her a great break, her career didn't end there. What a Difference Fearless, her second album, made. It was released in 2008 and included 2 of her most well-known songs, Love Story and You Belong With Me. The album won 4 Grammys, including Album of the Year. Taylor was the youngest performer to receive that esteemed honor at the time. Then Speak Now was released in 2010. After this, things became even more intriguing. She took a huge risk by writing every song on the record herself, and it paid off handsomely. Mine and Back to December, 2 songs with intensely emotional tales, spoke to them without boundaries. Taylor was mostly creating pop songs that broke people's hearts all across the world by the time Red was released in 2012. All Too Well was the one song that didn't appeal to everyone, but there were plenty of copies of I Knew You Were Trouble and We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together. She gave her fans a 10-minute rendition of the depressing tune when she re-released Red as Taylor's version in 2021. It was a hit with the Swifties. In 2014, Taylor went full pop with 1989. The world was handed Wildest Dreams, Shake It Off, and Blank Space. She won a second Grammy for Record of the Year for the record. She is the first solo female performer to accomplish that feat twice. Then the Snake era started. 2017 saw the release of the darker, better, and more arrogant album Reputation. Songs such as Hey, Hey, Are You Ready? And Look What You Made Me Do demonstrated that Taylor didn't need to prove anything but had a lot to say. In 2019, she returned to her previous level of happiness and excitement with Lover. Then, in 2020, she surprised everyone by abruptly switching to indie folk with Folklore and Evermore. Despite writing two melancholic and lyrical songs during the pandemic, Folklore won her a third Grammy for Album of the Year, writing history. In 2022, Midnights released the hit song, Hi, It's Me. Everyone has said, I'm the problem, it's me. Before Taylor's 2024 release of The Tortured Poets Department, fans believed she had done it all. An account that revealed considerably more about her identity. It was another new direction in a career full of them, and it felt real and dramatic. As the boss that she is, Taylor has regained custody of her master recordings and released 11 original studio albums and 4 re-recordings titled Taylor's Version. Her record-breaking Eras tour, which started in 2023 and was the largest celebration of her musical development, also focused mostly on these records. Of all the tours she had ever done, it brought in the most money. Not to mention her Swifties, who are her admirers. They are powerful, noisy, and constantly prepared to defend their queen. She is honest, tells amazing stories, and transforms genuine suffering into powerful, beautiful art, which is why people adore her. Aside from her notoriety and significant occasions, one aspect of her life is rarely discussed: how her parents' private separation helped to mold her into the person she is today. Taylor has largely concealed that aspect of her life up until now. At the age of 35, she is finally speaking up about the reasons behind Andrea Swift and Scott Swift's 23-year marriage ending. After hearing this story, you might never have the same opinion of Taylor Swift again. It adds a fresh meaning to the songs we've been singing for years. What actually took place? And what impact did that have on her ascent to international fame? Return to see. The well-known altercation between Taylor Swift and Kanye West. Few people anticipated Taylor Swift's difficulty when she first began writing songs. By 2008, she was already attracting attention from those in the industry. She took home the MTV Video Music Awards Best Female Video trophy that year. For a young woman making waves in a genre that was still largely dominated by men, this was significant. However, some didn't believe she deserved it. One individual was extremely explicit about that. It was more than simply a disagreement, it resulted in one of the most well-known celebrity altercations in pop culture history. The relationship between Taylor Swift and Kanye West has not been smooth. During Beyoncé's speech, Kanye rushed on stage, snatched the microphone, and informed the audience that her music video was among the greatest ever. It all began at the 2009 VMAs, when Swift, then 19 years old, took the stage to accept her award for You Belong With Me. It was quiet in the room. Beyoncé, who was nominated as well, appeared appalled. She was seen shaking her head in shots. Taylor stood still and embarrassed on what ought to have been one of the most memorable evenings of her early career. At the conclusion of the evening, Queen Bey made an effort to put things right. She summoned Taylor back on stage to complete her speech after winning Video of the Year. This was an uncommon act of generosity in a dire circumstance. However, the damage was already done. Kanye immediately caused a great deal of ire. The break was disliked by some celebrities. Taylor had a large following. In an unrecorded interview, even President Obama referred to Kanye as a jackass. A few days later, Kanye was quite embarrassed as he immediately acknowledged his mistake on The Tonight Show. Taylor later acknowledged that they had spoken after he discreetly apologized to her. She claimed that she was able to accept his apologies because of the support she received from others and that it was genuine. However, Taylor didn't ignore it. Many people believe that the song, Innocent, from her Speak Now album was her reaction to the events that were taking place. She later performed the scathing yet lovely Barb at the 2010 VMAs, using words like 32 and still growing up now, as her own means of coping. At one point in time, everything appeared to be going well. However, in a 2013 interview with the New York Times, Kanye fanned the flames once more. He made it apparent that he didn't feel bad about interrupting Taylor when asked if he did. He didn't want to apologize, didn't feel horrible about what he'd done, and didn't want to. Then came the unexpected turn. At the 2015 Grammy Awards, Taylor and Kanye were spotted chatting and laughing. Later that year, Taylor actually presented him with the MTV Video Vanguard Award. She mentioned in her speech how she and her brother had purchased Kanye's College Dropout as their first iTunes purchase. She referred to him as one of the most imaginative individuals in fashion, music, and life. It appeared that the war was permanently over. However, the tranquility was short-lived. One song in particular from Kanye West's February 2016 album The Life of Pablo sparked the match once more. He stated that he made Taylor famous after discussing the possibility that they might still sleep together during the well-known rap. Fans were taken aback. According to Kanye, he spoke with Taylor over the phone and persuaded her to agree to the line. Taylor's employees retaliated, claiming that she had never consented to being referred to as that BTCH. The 2016 Grammy Awards followed. When Taylor won Album of the Year in 1989, she made a strong statement with her remarks. People will always try to undermine their achievement or claim credit for their accomplishments, she warned the young women in attendance. However, the strength would always come from hard effort and the support of friends and family. A few months later, Kanye produced the music video for Famous, which included wax figures of nude celebrities in bed together, including lookalikes of Taylor Swift, Rihanna, Chris Brown, and others. This made the film somewhat eerie. Many individuals felt that the film exploited minors for financial gain and was spooky. According to Lena Dunham, it was among the most distressing works of art she had recently seen. The situation worsened when Kim Kardashian intervened to defend her husband. She said that Taylor had previously approved the lyrics in an interview with GQ. Kim posted several Snapchat videos of Kanye and Taylor talking on the phone, with Kanye reading her portions of the lyrics and Taylor seemed to like it, during the July episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Kim then made a jab in a tweet. She included a number of snake photos and stated that it was National Snake Day. The internet exploded. Globally, the hashtag #KimExposedTaylorParty gained popularity. Swift responded on Instagram, saying that the entire song had never been played for her and that she had never heard the words, that be *TCH. It all felt like an assault on her identity, she wrote. Kanye, however, saw it as a victory. At a Drake event in late August, he informed the audience that he was happy Kim had Snapchat because it allowed everyone to know the truth. Taylor took a year off from social media following that public humiliation, but she returned with the album Reputation, which was influenced by it. The first song, Look What You Made Me Do, didn't hold back. In songs like This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things and I Did Something Bad, she expressed her intense rage at those who had wronged her. From her posts to the stage photos, the snake images were everywhere. She incorporated the insult into her fashion sense. Although Kim publicly stated in 2019 that she had forgotten about the altercation, Taylor could not help but recall. In the same year, she spoke in an interview with Elle about being attacked online. She said that the term, snake, had been used to launch a hate campaign. Having that emblem, she claimed, helped her weather the storm. Her altercation with Scooter Braun that same year made matters worse. She now controlled her master recordings after Braun purchased Big Machine Records. Given Braun's connections to Kanye West, Taylor voiced her opposition to the move and referred to the famous video as revenge porn. In a Tumblr post, she claimed that everything she had worked for was now held by the person who had attempted to close her firm. The treachery had both a commercial and an emotional component. She told Rolling Stone at the end of that year that she had given up on attempting to patch things up with Kanye. She realized that while he was kind to her in private, he was dishonest with her in public. She thought she was being used all the time. The whole, unaltered phone conversation between Taylor Swift and Kanye West was made public online in 2020. Taylor was obviously unaware that she would be referred to as that BTCH star. She laughed as Kanye read her a mellowed version of the song's lyrics. However, she was obviously uneasy and requested some time to reflect. Kanye promised to send her the entire song. He didn't. Taylor discussed the video in a straightforward but quiet manner after it became viral. She posted a statement reminding her admirers that she had always been honest, encouraging them to put the drama out of their minds and concentrate on more significant matters. The wounds were still evident in her songs when Midnights was released in 2022. One of the tracks that left folks wondering was Vigilante SHT star. Getting close to someone's ex-wife and witnessing her take the house, the children, and the pride was the subject of her song. The fact that Kanye and Scooter were no longer wed to their spouses was something that fans couldn't ignore. She made a joke about the break in 2009 when performing in Mexico City as part of her era's tour stop. She remarked that being interrupted by people screaming her name was the only appropriate thing to do, and she recognized it, as the crowd erupted in cheers. She was then interviewed by Time for the Person of the Year award in December. For the first time, she revealed how deeply the 2016 takedown affected her. She claimed that she didn't leave her rented house for a year after moving to a new nation. She didn't answer the phone and avoided most of the people in her life. She had no faith in anyone. Her parents, Andrea and Scott Swift, stood by her side no matter what, despite the gloom. Those who had accompanied her to Nashville were in the first row when she was 11 years old. She had the worst year of her life during that time. She had advanced in her career thanks to them. They supported her during the difficult moments when the outside world attempted to destroy her. All throughout the world, Taylor Swift is regarded as a legend who never gives up, has the ability to reinvent herself, and has amazing storytelling skills. However, beyond that facade lies a lady who has repeatedly been scrutinized, ridiculed, and deceived in public. Her strength, skill, and the steadfast support of the two individuals who had faith in her from the beginning have all contributed to her continued success. Those two have always supported Taylor, no matter what. However, she continues to run across problems of all kinds. Taylor Swift scandals. You were mistaken if you believe that Taylor Swift's run-in with the law was limited to the Kanye West situation. Not all of Taylor's issues have been related to her skipping award events or fighting with other celebs. Her songs and the men who write them have been responsible for some of the most significant issues, including the media's intense coverage and online riots. It's obvious that Tay-Tay puts her heart on her pen. Her songs are honest, unvarnished, and based on her personal life. Although reviews have frequently stated otherwise, fans appreciate how open she is about her emotions. For years, many believed she was only dating to get laid. Memes and jokes abound on the internet. Take a break with Taylor. Obtain a record. It became the most popular scavenger hunt in the world as people deduced details about her romantic life from her songs. And when she published Dear John in 2010, that murmur became a storm. The lyric was full with disappointment and melancholy. The older musician Taylor briefly dated, John Mayer, was immediately associated with Taylor by fans. She never stated that she didn't believe it, but she also never stated that she was certain. Just being silent was sufficient. Swifties were released. John Mayer expressed his shame at the response to Rolling Stone. Wait till he hears this. He believed that Taylor had misused her talent by rubbing her hands together and plotting, and that the songs weren't very good. She let the music speak without saying a word. After then, everyone could determine what it meant. More Than Only John Mayer was claimed to have been immortalized by heartbreak ballads. All Too Well is regarded by many as one of her best songs. They connected it to Jake Gyllenhaal. Supporters had evidence of the age difference and the well-known scarf. Another fan favorite was Style, which was believed to be about her brief romance with Harry Styles. Every song resembled a page from her diary of love. She dated people who were like playlists, not simply dates. She had created a playlist out of her list of dates. She didn't always get in trouble for dating, though. Sometimes friendship can intensify the heat.